If you're a beginner to intermediate guitarist, chances are you're using the spider exercise as a means of warming up. In this video, I'm going to show you what to look for when you're doing this exercise and things to avoid while doing this exercise. And at the end, I'll even show you a cool Steve Vai inspired variation to the spider exercise that you might find helpful. Let's check it out. Okay, for anybody not familiar with what the spider exercise is, it's simply using 4 fingers in a row on any given string at any fret. In this case, for our purposes, we'll start this at the 5th fret on the 6th string. Now I have a 7-string guitar, so we're going to just ignore the big guy here. And we're going to begin, like I said, on the 5th fret, 6th string. And the idea is very simple. You're just playing first finger at the 5th, middle finger at the 6th, ring finger at the 7th, and pinky at the 8th. Alternate picking with the right hand to get some extra coordination there. And typically this thing is played across all 6 strings. When you reach the end, you can either begin on this note and literally descend the way you came up, or you can shift up a fret and descend. That would be pinky, ring, middle, index, and follow through string at a time. So that's the basic concept with the spider exercise. But there's one thing that I see a lot of teachers mention. They'll often say to hold down the fingers after they're played and only move the finger that you need to the next string when you need it. Something like this. So in other words, I would be holding down all 4 fingers by the time I'm done my first round. And now that I would need the 5th string to come into play, I would only move the index finger. This is what I would say to avoid like the plague. Why? Well, let's take a look at the reasoning that someone would say that. Oftentimes they say this is going to be really good for your finger independence. If you think about it, what is independence? Independence, in this case, is a finger doing what it needs to do without the other fingers getting involved in any way or affecting the situation to allow that finger to do its job. If we're holding down 3 fingers to get our first finger to do something, that's not independent, that's very much dependent. And to make matters worse, you would now have 4 pressure points on the string. We want to avoid any extra tension or pressure needed, right? We want to develop a light touch and, well, finger independence. So the idea here is to not hold down the finger after you're done. What you would do instead is relax what I call the old finger. So for example, I would play the first finger, 5th fret, 6th string. Now when it's time to play the 6th fret with the middle finger, at the exact same moment that I do that, the first finger is allowed to just relax, go dead. Think of it as just going dead. And what happens when you do that? Your finger actually does something pretty cool. It kind of stays on the string, which is fine, you're not going to hear that anyway, but it also doesn't move very far. In fact, it might only move a couple millimeters at best. A lot of people complain about fingers that fly away after they're used, right? And there's a reason for that. They're not relaxing the finger after it's used, they're telling it to get out of the way. So what I would do, if you're going to do this exercise, and I know it's a bit of a point of contention with, advanced guitar players are like, don't bother with that exercise, it's crap. Well, it's only crap if you're not using your brain when you're doing it, right? If you're not looking at things that you could improve along the way. I get that you might not want to do it forever, and that's fine. So this is geared towards more beginner and intermediate players that are inclined to do this because it is a great exercise at that stage. So as soon as you get a grasp of what the exercise entails, work on it slow enough where you can very deliberately exchange the new note and let go of the old note. And let go just means let that finger totally go limp, just totally dead. And you can tell, just even at that tempo, look how little I'm moving my my fingers. It's because I'm not telling my fingers to get out of the way for the new note that's coming in. It's not necessary. All I'm telling it to do is relax because its job is done. So with the descending version, it's the same thing. You start with just the pinky. Then the ring finger comes in and the pinky goes limp. Now the middle finger comes in and the ring finger goes dead. Index finger comes in and the middle finger is allowed to chill. I gotta tell you, it's a very cool feeling to not feel like you're doing anything. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of effort going on there. So this will carry through all your other playing, all the scales, arpeggios, solos, everything you're doing. If you can remember the feeling of what this is like to release the old finger and just let it go dead, that will carry through to all of the rest of your playing. And you may end up with not only a very relaxed technique, fretting-wise, you may also discover that your fingers don't move around any more than you want them to, right? That it'll look like you have a very close knit technique. So if you are the type to have been holding down fingers after they're used and whatnot, and you feel like giving this a try, keep in mind it's going to take a bit of time for it to be your new normal. So if you're used to doing something else, yeah, you're going to have to expect a little bit of time and awareness in your practicing to get rid of that or to overcome it with a new habit. So be patient with this, but in the meantime, I have a pretty interesting Steve Vai related variation to this exercise. Years ago, in an article called the Steve Vai 10-Hour Guitar Workout, he showed a variation of this which goes like this. On the 6th string, you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th string, you'll start with the 2, the middle finger. You'll do 2, 3, 4, then the 1. Next string, the 4th string, you're going to start with the 3, or the ring finger, and you do 3, 4, then the 1, 2. You can see where we're going with this, right? The next string, we'll start with the pinky, the 4, 4th finger. 4, then the 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, 3. Now that's all 4 variations of this concept. But you don't stop there. We just keep going from string to string. So after that, we're back to doing 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're on the B string, we're on the 2nd string. The E string is going to be the 2, 3, 4, 1. Then we do our shift, and we just continue going through the alternation of the beginning fingers. So now we're doing 3, 4, 1, 2. Next string, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then by the time you shift up to the next fret, you're beginning the whole cycle again with the index finger ready to go. So that is a cool variation that, like I said, at first I had to really slow down and think about it because it was just, I wasn't used to starting with a different finger on every string. For anyone who's still doing the traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, I would give that one a try and you'll get even more mileage and coordination benefits from it. So check it out and let me know what you think in the comments.